Well, let's move on to question number 20 and 21. Try to make a note of these questions and answer them yourself. And then look into the solutions which I am going to give you just now. Question 20. 1, 2 is a point on a graph of y equals to f of x. Find the corresponding point on the graph of y equals to f of minus 2x plus 4. Okay. Now let's do 20 first. Now what it is trying to say is this is a transformed function. So we have to find the corresponding point on this graph for f of x. Now f of x is our original function. This is the transformed function. So in this transformed function, how will my point change? So let's try to understand that part. So we can write this as y equals to f of, now let me write factor out minus 2. So when I factor out minus 2, I get x minus 4 divided by 2 is 2. So that's what we get. You can check. If you multiply back, you get minus 2x and minus minus is plus 4, correct? Now, if this is your transformed function, how is my point xy getting transformed? My point xy gets transformed. What happens to y value? Nothing, because there's nothing outside here or here, right? So y remains same. But the x value gets divided by half minus, right? So we have minus half of x, and then x value gets added by 2 also. So that is the change which happens to x value. I should write this, and y value remains same. Correct? Now if you apply this formula here, your original value was 1 and 2, correct? So here, as you can see, for y value, if I write in 1 here, correct? So minus half times 1 is minus half. Minus half plus 2 is 1.5, right? So I can write this point as 1.5 or 1.5 for x. And as far as y value is concerned, it remains same as 2. So that is my transformed point, correct? So this is the solution for question 20. Let's move on to question 21. Question 21 says, a function f of x has points at 3, minus 8 and minus 9, minus 20. Transformations are applied to f of x such that the respective points are now located at minus 3, minus 3 and 1, minus 6. Determine an algebraic representation of the transformed function. So here, this is a very tricky problem. And I have purposely taken both these questions on this page, knowing fully well that I don't have space to solve. But the idea is to expose you to the type of transformation questions you should expect in your test paper. So one type of transformation is that you are given original point and you have to find the point on the image. The second is, which is a thinking problem, is image point is given to you and you have to get back the original point. Perfect, right? So that is the question. So this is what you can get as a thinking problem, and that problem probably is the toughest problem which you may face in your paper. Now I will use the space here to show you how to do this, correct? Now let us say that the transformed function's general equation is f of x equals to a times f of, within brackets, k x minus d plus c, correct? If that is my general equation, then how actually the points x and y gets transformed? So x and y really gets transformed. These values affect your x point, right? So x points get divided by k and then you add d to it, correct? So I'll write here 1 over k times original x value, right, plus d. So this happens to my x points, right? And y points gets multiplied by a, so I get a times y plus c. So this is my y point. Do you see that? So that is the equation of transformation of points from original to image. Now, we'll consider this equation to solve this problem. So one of the points which we have here is 3 minus 8. So I'll write here 3 minus 8. Oh, sorry, 3 minus 8 is here, right? Okay, the function of f(x) has a point 3 minus 8, and this transformations are applied to f of x such that, okay, yeah, 3 minus 8 is on your original point. And that gets transformed to such that the respective points are now located at minus 3, minus 3. Okay, so this point gets transformed to minus 3, minus 3, right? So this is what happens to this point. The second point is minus 9, minus 20. So the second point is minus 9 and minus 20. And that gets transformed to 1 and minus 6. 1 and minus 6. Correct? So that is the kind of transformation you get. So we will use this equation to solve for our variables. Variables which we need to find are a, k, d and c. Do you see that? Determine an algebraic representation of the transformed function. So this function we are interested in finding now. How do we get it? So we say my final point is minus 3. Correct? And the original point x was 3. So I am going to use this equation and show you how to do it. So let me do the x part here. So x part is minus 3 is here. So I'll say minus 3 is equal to 1 over k and x values plus 3. Do you see that? Plus 3 plus d. And I don't know what d is, correct? So this is one equation. And from the second point I get the second equation, which is 1. The image point 1 is equal to 1 over k times minus 9, so I'll write minus 9 in brackets, plus d. So this is what I get. I got two different equations here from x points. Similarly, I will get two different equations for y points, right? Let me write down my y equations on this side. And my y equation is minus 3 is the y value, right? So I'll write here, I'll write on this. Minus 3 is my y value. Minus 3 is equal to a times original y value, which is minus a. So I'll write minus 8 as my y, right? Times a, is it okay? And then my c value is, I don't know, so I'll write plus c. And from the second equation, I can write minus 6 equals to minus 9a plus c. So this is my equations for y values. So here we have two variables and two equations. You can always solve it, right? Very simple, correct? So the solution is, if I take away this equation from this equation, I'm left with a equals to, if I take a equals to 3, do you see that? And if I plug back a as 3 here, I can find c. Do you understand? Similarly, I'll do here. I'm leaving the solution for you. If I take away, d and d will cancel out, right? And I can find k as this take away, this will be minus 4, correct? And this take away, this is 12k, right? When I do this minus this, so let me, okay, so a equals to minus 3 here. I can plug in a and find c. Let me do that part first. So let's move this way. So if I do this part, let me move the paper slightly up so that I can solve here itself. So let me write a as 3 here. So I get minus 6 equals to 3 times minus 9 as minus 27 plus c, right? And therefore c is equal to, when I bring this here, 27 minus 6, which is 21. So I got value of A and C, right? And I'm taking these equations and I'm doing, let's say this is my equation 1 and this is my equation 2, right? So what I'm doing here is I'm doing equation 1 minus equation 2, right? If I do that, I'm left with this minus this is minus 4 equals to this minus this, so 9 becomes plus, right? So I got 12 over k and d minus d is 0. So I can now cross multiply and say k equals to 12 divided by minus 4, which is equals to minus 3, correct? So once I get k, then I can plug in k back into the equation and find d. Perfect. So when I plug in k back here, let's say minus 3, I'm using equation 1. Minus 3 equals to, when I put k as minus 3 here, 3 over minus 3 is, let me write 3 over minus 3 plus d, right? So 3 over 3 minus is 1 minus. So we get minus 3 plus 1 equals to d, and so d equals to minus 2. Perfect. So we know now all the values, and we can write transform function f of x. Let me write transform function is equal to a value is 3 for us. 3, right? F of k value is minus 3. Correct? X minus d, d is minus 2, so it becomes plus 2. Correct? Bracket close, and c is 21 plus 21. So that's our final answer. Perfect. Do you understand how we really got it? So anyway, this involves a lot of calculations and thinking. Go through it again so that you really understand what I did. Okay, basically I took this as the original point and that as the image, right? This, yes, this is the image. For that, this is the image. And from here I get two equations for x and two equations for y. Two equations, two variables. You can solve linear equations, get your answer. That's the bottom line. Okay, I hope that makes you understand, and with this you should be able to do your application and thinking problem. Thank you.